Welcome back, and let's touch on a subject just as important as politics. It's your health, and especially that which you consume to address health challenges. The menace of fake drugs in Nigeria, with reports that there are over 70% of fake drugs imported into Nigeria. So why is Nigeria vulnerable to fake drugs? Let's have this conversation, and joining us is a clinical pharmacist, Dr. Lulu John, who joins us right here in our Lagos studio. Dr. John, welcome to the program, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance to you.
I wish you the same.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So as we start off, I had to reflect on some of the most recent bursts that has been carried out in conjunction with the police and NAFDAC recently, and I'm wondering, where exactly lies the challenge? In Ojo, there's a big, if you like, factory, a building where drugs are being rebagged. In Anambra, just recently, in the open market, the drug sellers, they handed over drugs worth over 265 million naira, fake drugs, to NAFDAC. So where do you identify the lapses to be in the system that makes it, makes Nigeria a porous dumping ground for fake drugs?
Yeah, thank you so much once again. Merry Christmas, just passed, and compliment of the season. My name is Lulu Ojo. So we have this problem, and I will remember I was here in the studio just a few months back.
In September.
Oh, yes, and we were talking about this same subject. We will not even be talking so much about the lapses, but we'll be talking about we ourselves. I said it before, why people take pleasure in making fortune out of the misfortune of others. Medicines are not biscuits, they are not refreshment, they are not things that you are happy consuming. By the time you get to the level where you have to take drugs, there are certain things are wrong with your system. And that thing that is wrong with your system is what you want the medicines to correct. And the people who are behind this fake drug, they know this. They know it truly that people need the medicines, because we are in a system that, not even just Nigeria alone, all over the world, there are issues that make the body to malfunction. And when the body malfunctions, what you do is to find a corrective pathway. And the sure corrective pathway is the use of medicine. So those who are behind fake drugs know it. So we have that big trouble of people making fortune out of the misfortune of others. That is one basic fact I want us to know. Then again, monitoring, control, what other thing you will call it? Maybe because of the size of our country, maybe because of resources and infrastructural deficit, it may not be possible to know what is happening on all the streets, unless perhaps intelligence, like the one that you have mentioned, somebody must have tipped off what is happening, either due to disagreement or due to patriotism or whatever it is, to say something is happening in there. When we see them on the screen, we start wondering, do they know that those who will use these medicines are those who actually are in trouble? Therefore, we have to tighten the control, more persuasion to let people know that don't make a fortune out of the misfortune of others.
So let's talk about the scale of production here. That just crossed my mind. From the data that is available to those of you who are experts, how much of fake drugs is imported? How much is produced locally? Because if we can get that data, and if the institution gets that data, maybe curbing it will be a lot more easier. Because what we find is, we hear of importation, we hear of the sales of this fake drug, but where are they manufactured more? Is it here or outside our country? Let's not live in the illusion and assume that everything is coming from outside. It could be manufactured here. We may never know. Because if you see some of the things that are being produced, literally, they say chalk even produced as drugs for people to ingest.
Yeah. I had you mentioning 70%. I mean, that may be a big pill, a very bitter pill to swallow, 70%. But let us look at what we have, the figures that have been bandied around. WHO, that is the World Health Organization, says all over the world about 10% of medicines in circulation could be spurious drugs. Within Africa here, regional basis and stuff like that, I think they gave us a figure of about 20%. But NAFDAC says what we have is about 13 to 15%. There could be some other figures here and there. So the truth of the matter could be in between, but certainly not 70%. Because if 70%, then we are in big, big trouble.
No, the 70% is the amount imported.
Oh, as of the total importation
Yes.
of drugs. Oh, yes, you are. If that is the case, then you are very much right. But again, that is going down. I think NAFDA figure now is about 60%. Coming to your question, how much of the fake drug is coming from abroad or the one that is locally produced? That I cannot give you directly. But one thing that is sure now is that we cannot sit down here and say all our fake drugs are imported. No, we have seen it being happening here now. And it is not only on medicine. Even when you talk about drinks, particularly wine, I'm always very scared now. If I want to buy wine, I would rather go into that place where I can be sure that this product comes from a factory. Because most of the ones that you see on the shelves are actually manufactured in somebody's room. So I may not be able to say this is how much of it is coming. But because of porous borders that we have, because of our own people, a lot of these products may be coming. If you want me to have a guess, we could say about 70-30. That the spurious products that we have.
The reason I asked that question because I wanted you to also add to that was because if we know how it enters or how it comes into the country, shouldn't that make it easy for us to be able to stop it at the very point of entry? That's actually where I was going to with that question.
Yeah. We should be. And let me tell you what is officially known, because the trouble is the one that is not official. What is officially known is that the NAFDAC, which is the agency responsible for this, identifies certain places that require some extra care. For instance, any product coming from Asia, let's say in particular India, must go through an agent for quality, they call it QCS, for quality certification. That is, after the normal factory check, which the government of India is expected to do, which the local regulatory authority is expected to do, NAFDAC has an agent that picks samples from that product that is coming here and issue a certificate that, yes, this product is okay before coming to us. I'm an importer, so I have that. Without that QCS certificate, NAFDAC won't even allow you to clear it. But that is the official pathway. I can tell you that. The trouble is your own official pathway, those that will not even register with NAFDAC, those who will register ABC, but eventually bring in CDE and things like that. That is where we had the problem. Because the NAFDAC knows that this product may be coming from abroad, they do those checks. They do those checks. Locally, they hide until they are detected like the one that you mentioned in here.
Right. So I want us to step back a bit and do some sort of education. Okay. What exactly is a fake drug? I know that drugs, in common knowledge, drugs contain both active and inactive ingredients, in the sense that active tackles what it's meant to tackle, but inactive ingredients may help with maybe swallowing, taste, there could be binders and all of that. So it's said that fake drugs can mean anything. It can mean the active ingredients is too high, or it's too low, or it's not even there. It's just cement that they put in there. So what is really fake drug in the context of what we're discussing?
Okay, thank you so much. I am happy like this. The more we talk about it, the more our people are educated. If you recall, we did mention this here and there. We could have substandard. We could have fake. Like I said, the substandard could be anything, could be packaging, could be mislabeling and stuff like that. Could be error in the factory, could be this or that.
So that's not fake, that's substandard.
That's substandard.
Is it harmful?
Sometimes could be, depending on the interpretation you give it. For instance, if the labeling has a problem, you're supposed to use 2-3 times a day, and he asks you to use just once a day, it could mean that you will get a suboptimal, dose of that product. So it could be. We don't need either substandard or fake. We don't want it, But the fake one is as a result of a criminal intention. It's a criminal intention. That may be one of the major difference between the two. That one could be an error. But this one is a criminal intention when somebody decidedly, go manufacturing and distributing something that is not what you claim it as.
So when it is expired and it is rebagged, what is that? Is that fake or is that substandard?
When it is expired and it's rebagged, that is fake. And I'll tell you why. The expiry date that is put on the pack says, by this time, the quality or the concentration or the measure of the product in this pack may not be what it is as from the beginning. Yes, that is what that one says. So when you see that, and some products even deteriorate, they change completely to something else within that expiry date. So that is why we don't make excuse at all that after the expiry date you can use. No. Once that has expired, that is gone. That is gone. If somebody now revalidate that product, not through a scientific process, if you revalidate that product, not through a scientific, but because you don't want to lose it, because the ideal thing is that once it has expired, you pass it outside to be destroyed. That is what is expected. If you now change the date, that's a criminal intention.
Okay.
Yeah, you are putting a fake.
So, speaking of systemic issues now, some would say Nigeria is the only country where, you can find drugs to purchase across the counter so easily. In some cases, you can find drugs to purchase in an open market so easily. And to support that, sometimes when some of our loved ones are traveling across the country because they know that they don't have that much ease of access to a mere aspirin for headaches, they purchase in some measure just in case they would need it, and they're unable to get it with ease in their destinations. Is that part of the problem where we have open markets for drugs and you don't necessarily have a pharmacist in these open markets who are, scrutinizing your subscription and saying this is what you should buy and this is the measure that you should be taking? Is that part of the problem? And who should be advocating? Is it your body of pharmacists that should be advocating for some form of standards to be introduced?
Just 30 seconds. We're totally out of time, sir. In 30 seconds, if you can answer us in 30 seconds.
Okay, thanks so much. It is not just a part of the problem, it's the bigger part of the problem. Because accessibility is one big thing. But I'm happy you are mentioning it now because people, when we say it all the time, people say, oh, pharmacists, they are territorial, stuff like that, they're just protecting their interests. But people have seen it now that what is happening. Now, what we are saying is that it's not that, don't be in the business of distribution of drug, but be under regulatory control. Because once you are under regulatory control, there is a chance that things can be monitored, things can be seen better.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir, for coming on the Coca-Cola.
Yes, indeed. It's been a very productive conversation by all means. So must thank you very much, Dr. Lolu Ojo.
Thank you.
Yes, clinical pharmacist, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
And here's where we drop the anchor as we start off the week. Thank you so much for being there. Of course, there's more to come through the week, and so we urge you to join us again tomorrow. I am Bukola Koka.
And I'm Jeffrey Uzoma. Bye-bye.
Well, before you take that medication, be sure to check and double check. That's the essence of this conversation. I'm Kayode Kikilu. Sunrise Daily is next. Goodbye.